Hello, everybody. In today's video, we're going to be discussing Amber Reid obsessing about ex Beck and making a whole new video about them. Remember, people talk about what they think about. All Amber does is sit around at home, wait to go to bingo, and think about Beck and how she could possibly stick it, to Beck to get back at Beck to get revenge. And she has enough audacity to say that Beck was lying about her and exaggerating everything. It's not an exaggeration that you stole their mother's inheritance that their mother left for them. It's not an exaggeration that you actually demanded that Beck wash dirty rags that you stole from the late mother of your roommates and use in the lavatory. That's not an exaggeration. This is all she has, girls. This is all she has. Amber Reid posted a video saying that Beck silenced me with proof and receipts. And basically, Amber blatantly lies. Does the fun ever start? Basically, Amber tells us that she was silenced by Beck because you see, Amber wants you to believe that she only spoke about Beck for 2 years, for just a few years, and then didn't talk about Beck for other years and only spoke about Beck when prompted to and never randomly. This is what we like to call semantics and manipulation of language. When were you ever prompted to discuss Beck? Okay, look, I'm going to go through all the receipts to show you, just in case you want to know or you want proof that Amber is lying. But basically, if you want to know what really happened, Amber Reid continued to talk about her ex Beck every single year since the breakup in 2021. She talked about them in 22, 23, 24, and 25. They asked her repeatedly to stop talking about them. They threatened to sue and she would not listen. So then they had to tell their story because Amber would not stop talking about them. How exactly is Amber silenced when she has over 200,000 people subscribed to her YouTube channel? Thousands of people subscribe to her and following her on Instagram, and she continuously makes drama videos. Amber, why are you not embarrassed to obsess over all your exes, especially Beck? This is inappropriate and strange and off-putting. And I know that Amber believes that since Beck talked about her, she can talk about them. The difference is Beck was telling their side and their story of how you mistreated them. You were just being petty and obsessive because you have no other content. Beck would have never talked about you had you left them alone for 4 years. That's what really happened. You talked about them for 4 years in various sneaky ways and blatant ways. It doesn't matter what years she wants to pretend that she was talking about them or not. It was all the 4 years, all the full 4 years after the breakup and during the breakup. It was in 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. This is a math channel, everybody, okay? She also leaks Beck's text. Amber, it is so boring. You're not even leaking anything good. Rinse, lather, here we are. We're going to get into it. If you could not tell already by this ridiculous intro,
showered and then put the same dirty clothes back on.
Everything I'm saying is just for entertainment purposes only. I'm sharing my own opinions, not facts, so please don't take anything I say too seriously. I'm sharing my opinions based on public statements made by public figures, and I would urge you, please don't go to these people's channels and leave mean-spirited, negative, disparaging comments. My personal opinion is Amber has nothing left except for this. She knows that Beck is not around currently to respond, so she always, whenever Amber smells what she believes is weakness, she goes in, right? It's not weak to take a break from YouTube, but in my opinion, in Amber's opinion, it is. Amber is suffering from what we like to call
did not shower.
Narcissistic injury. She never thought Beck would dump her and basically, can you imagine? I just want to ask you something. Can you imagine raging and obsessing and having all of your exes live rent-free in your mind, especially the one ex that you never loved and that you didn't even do anything with? It's a wonderful time to be alive, girls. Let's start. Here is Amber leaking Beck's text that says September 7th, 2022. Last warning, stop talking about me. All you do is talk about me, and I just want to forget you and all of the stuff. Getting a text like this and still obsessing over the person. They don't want you, Amber. Move on. They dumped you. I will stop being silent if you don't. And I'm not the only one who has a lot to say about you. Final warning, take my name out of your mouth. And I can get the law involved. Listen, I'm just so glad that la law is getting involved, like Rosen Island would say. That's an old Golden Girls joke. I love me some la law. And Amber says, I was sharing my proposal story and then we don't know what else she says. Notice here how Amber decided to take her portion out of the text message out. So you can't see all the mean things that she said. By the way, in this moment, Amber shares that she did make videos about Beck, but then, this text message came to her after she embarrassed and humiliated Beck with a very private proposal story of how Beck proposed to Amber. The story in and of itself, like the way that Beck proposed, is not humiliating, but Amber knew that it would embarrass Beck. It was no one's business. So basically, Amber only stipulates to making videos about Beck, and she leaks this text, right? And she says that Beck, anytime that Amber didn't say something amazing about Beck, Beck wanted to pounce and everything. I'm just like, yeah, you wish. The point of the story here, all right, is this. Bottom line is Amber is saying that she only made a few videos about Beck and spoke in a live stream about Beck, but didn't talk about Beck for years. What Amber is lying about is all of the Instagram stories that she made about Beck, accusing Beck of being the reason, that she didn't get help for her illness and all these other things, which brings us current, and I'm about to show them to you. Remember now, Beck silenced her, and she only spoke about Beck for 2 years. This is the most important part. This proves that she's lying, okay? I know that everybody knows that she's lying, but listen, if she's gonna monetize lies, we'll do the same, only for the truth, okay? You can monetize your lies, we'll monetize the truth. This is a math channel sometimes. Amber says in her video, I did not speak about Beck until 2 years later. It was January 15th, 2024. So she is saying that she did not talk about Beck for 2 years until January 15th, 2024. The majority of my screenshots are literally from 2023. So there's your proof right there, but we'll go through all the proof. You say you didn't talk about them for 2 years, but you lied. You talked about them every single year after the breakup because you are obsessed. These are just random screenshots that I was personally able to find in my own videos. I'm going to make this very clear. This is not everything. I'm sure a lot of you will remember stuff that I have forgotten, but here's proof that Amber Reid is lying yet again in no particular order. So Beck silenced her, and she only talked about Beck in one live stream and in some videos for only 2 years, right? Here is when Amber said that in her own video, she never posted this video, but I remember it. It was right after the breakup. I think she was already living with Alex's wifey, Feline. Amber did say that Beck does not travel anywhere except for their sister's backyard. This was right after the breakup, and it was absolutely not prompted, Amber, because Amber says that, of course, she was always prompted. Manipulation 101. That doesn't work on anybody. Okay. In no chronological order, because this is not a math channel. 12/09/2023 from Amber's Instagram, when her Instagram was still called Hi, I'm Bambi. Worst date you've ever been on. This is about Beck. This is a manipulative, sneaky attempt to trash Beck. It was a first date. They barely even looked at me. At the end of the date, they gave me a side hug, told me they had to go home to do something, and they burped in my ear. Can I prove that this is exactly about Beck? Yes. Here is Amber's, older video where the video was with Beck when they were dating, and Amber had said that during their first date, Beck gave me a side hug. So basically, here is Amber saying negative things about Beck in 2023, saying that Beck was the worst first date, worst date that she had ever been on. Here is 12/13/2023. Ask me something. Can you imagine if your mom, Destiny, or Beck did something, yet people laughed at you being, it's because it's me, people's Morsley, blah, 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 nobody cares. As you can see, again, bringing up Beck and Destiny, but that's not that bad. I'm just showing you a pattern of events as far as that screenshot. It's not the end of the world, basically always bringing up Beck and talking about them. This one is pretty bad. This is 10/26/2024. Did you apologize to Beck when you said that people with certain types of, all right, about hair? I never thought Beck had this type of situation, but you apparently do. This is when she was just being incredibly inappropriate towards Beck. Oh, here's my favorite. This is when Amber was blaming Beck for her cancer. And if you know anything about recent times, from my remembrance, Amber is still blaming Beck for her cancer, for her illness, saying that Beck never encouraged her to go to the doctor, which is a blatant lie. This is from Amber's Instagram. Are you insinuating that it's Beck's fault that you didn't go to the doctor sooner? They didn't seem concerned, which made it to where I was less concerned than I should have been. I'm pretty sure we talked about this on the live stream, but they didn't even want to take me to the ER. They admitted that was wrong of them. None of this is true, but that's an Instagram story of Amber. It's just more than a little bit of 2 years, Amber. I only talked about Beck for 2 years. No, you talked about them for 4. Stop lying. Stop deceiving. So that's where Amber on her Instagram story was going ahead and blaming Beck for her, for Amber getting cancer. It's really, really, really wild. Like, here's another one where, like, another Instagram post where Amber was mentioning Beck. Some of these she mentioned Beck and it wasn't bad, but most of these it was clearly really, really bad. So saying that Beck was the worst date you ever had, talking about superficial stuff as far as Beck is concerned, blaming, your illness onto Beck. These are just some of the screenshots that I was able to find. And this is going back years and years and years. And you have enough audacity to say that you never, ever, ever talked about Beck, with the exception of 2 years. You constantly talked about Beck. And no, you were not prompted to either, Amber. When you as an adult get asked a question about Beck, you always had a choice. This is just like one of the comments I had seen on her recent video where somebody said, why is Feline off limits, but you continue to go after Beck? You don't have to answer questions about Beck if you don't want to. So I hope this proves to you, just in case you're new to my channel or, maybe you didn't know, Amber Reid has went after Beck for 4+ years and will continue to. She recently said in a members only live stream that she will talk about Beck forever, that she will never stop talking about Beck. My personal opinion is she has always wanted common sense. She's always wanted to talk about Beck. All of these years after the breakup, 22, 23, 24, 25, even all of 2021 after the breakup, she's always wanted to talk about Beck, which is why she made YouTube videos as she stipulated to them, okay? But what she wants you to forget and not see is that she continued to discuss Beck in a negative light and shade Beck on Instagram all the time. The receipts never lie, Amber, but you do. Okay, so let's talk about some other parts of her video. Somebody asked her, like, are you gonna walk laps, right? And I just wanted to say something. Amber has made videos before where she's walked to trees. So this is content that she has filmed, edited, and produced in the past. And she recently, I don't know if anybody knows, but she walked a mile. Congratulations. Okay, great. And Twinkie was with you too, right? Okay. So this is content. The only reason I'm mentioning it, this is the type of content that Amber has produced before. So I don't understand all of this anger towards this random commenter. What's the matter, Pookie? Is the real you coming out? All right. So basically she says, well, I'm not going to do that for you. I'm paraphrasing because, like, you're being rude and you're not here to see me improve. I want to talk about your character. I don't care about anything else. When was the last time you improved the way you treated other people, other human beings? Because what I see from this video is you have so much disdain for somebody who you tried to steal their mother's inheritance. You tried to bother them for years. And when they stood up for themselves, you cannot take it when your control is being taken away from you, Pookie. And here you are raging and ranting and lying. Do you consider that improving your character? Do you consider that being a better human being towards others? You know, Amber, I've given you this advice for a very long time, and I truly do believe in it, or otherwise I wouldn't have said it. When you start treating other people better, including your audience, truly apologizing for all the horrid things you've done, that's when your relationship can improve. I've said this before, people do not want to see and hear and consume the message of I've changed, I'm a different person. They want to see it. They want to feel it and they want to believe it for themselves. It's not up to you to convince others that you're a different person. It's up to the behavior, the change that should be coming from you. Like, when are you improving? Like, I don't care if you walk laps or whatever you're doing. You dare to say that, like, this person isn't here to see you improve. If it wasn't for this person and people like them, you wouldn't be able to pay your bills. Humble yourself. Then there's another moment where somebody interviews her and says that they love her so much. That's right. Amber's not picking these questions at all. So anyways, they're basically like saying, well, future of your channel, blah, 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 blah. And she says, basically, I'm going to paraphrase what she's saying, but she's trying to say that she understands there's always going to be, I'm going to use a nice word, criticism. And she's like, but I get more. I don't get like a regular amount of criticism. And I just hope that the love overtakes this. I get more than any other YouTuber. Here's the bottom line. I think that, okay, not in every instance, because I've been on YouTube just as long as her, so I've seen quite a bit and I've experienced quite a bit, and I could tell you this is my opinion. Not in every case, okay? Sometimes people do get criticized like to an outrageous amount over not really doing much at all, just because people just don't like somebody's personality. So it can happen where people are overly criticizing something that isn't really like happening, or like just like because somebody doesn't like a YouTuber, they are overreacting to nothing. That has happened. I've seen that happen. So it's not like that she's fully wrong. Amber, the problem, you are getting the amount of criticism that you rightfully and justly deserve. Do I think that you should be criticized for the typical thing that you're being criticized, that you constantly talk about, like superficial stuff? No, I've always said that. I think people should focus on character because these things are what really matters. I think people should focus on character. Bottom line with you, Amber, you are getting a little bit more than the average YouTuber because you're doing quite a bit more than the average YouTuber. What do I mean by that is you treat people terribly. You treat your audience terribly. And before she says something like, they treat me terribly first, I am the perfect person to talk about this. Just because you have an audience that misunderstands you and mainly doesn't like you doesn't mean you can't change their mind. And doesn't mean you can't get a new audience that sees you for who you really are and not what people lie about you. You understand? Only in your case, people don't lie about you on a general scale. Have people said things before that were exaggerations, and once in a very small while? Not true, yeah, but the majority of the rumors are true about you. The point is, you are getting the exact amount of criticism that you deserve based on your bad actions. I really don't know what else to say to you other than that. You deserve what you're getting most of the time. 90% of the time you do. That's my opinion. The rest of the video just gets worse and worse. First of all, somebody sends her a voice note, like her jaw drops. It's so exciting, not. And she's like, you're not going to be hearing that because that was so offensive. Amber, I'm really glad that that happened to you. And I'm going to tell you why. That is exactly what the base of your audience is. The majority of your audience feel offensive things that you feel are offensive, but to us, we see you for who you really are. So this is just another example of her silencing her audience. Amber, if you're going to put out a video of let's talk, of something that is a combination of the people that enjoy your content and don't, why are you not letting us hear and consume what that person said? It was offensive to you? You mean it was the truth? If you're wondering, the majority of her audience, I know most of you know this, do not have a positive interest in her, right? Have negative things to say. And she doesn't really showcase that in her Let's Talk videos, which is why they're fake. I have not heard one thing said to her during these like lint reviews where, don't worry, nobody's picking the lint off. Oh, did you want to cuddle? Basically, when people are like sending her these like little voice notes, what happens is you never hear anyone saying anything negative to her, which I find offensive myself. You know why? Because it's not the base makeup demographic of your audience. Your audience mainly has a negative interest. Why don't you be honest for once on your channel and show us what people really have to say? Because girl, we really know what people have to say in your comments section, but you're not showing the majority of your audience what they're really saying. That one voice note that she took out, she takes it out because that is what people would regularly say to her. Now, it could have been like negative, it could have been worse than what I think, fair enough. But the bottom line is, we see you, Pookie. We see you, okay? So these Let's Talk videos are just her, like, smugly talking to the 10 people that think she has done nothing wrong, okay? She then goes on to say that YouTube is not a real job, and this was, Pookie, you really made my day here. She goes on to say that when she has a real job, she shows up early and she's a good worker. Only nobody believes that, right? You got fired from all your jobs, and when you did have a real job, we remember because, you filmed yourself in the bathroom hiding from work. Oh, your feet hurt. You have a heel spur. You have a whatever, a Kermit on standby. I don't know. The point is, I remember from my remembrance, as Amberlyn, Hans Christian Amberlyn would say, from my remembrance, you quit and got fired from all your jobs. How are you a good worker? But that doesn't matter. The fact that she's yet again making up a narrative is fine. Look, Amber, this is a real job. I'm going to tell you this. I just paid some real taxes. You understand what I'm saying? So when I be paying a whole bunch of money in taxes, it's real. Okay. When you get paid a bunch of money and then you pay a bunch of money in taxes, it's real. I don't know what people's definitions of, real jobs are, but this is it. Okay. It's real jobs when you get paid real cash and you have to pay real, taxes. That's as real as it gets to me. So it's so wild to me when listen to this. This is the best part of the video, perhaps. She always says that, this is a job and she's keeping a roof over her head and she's so thankful for this job and she can support her fur babies, her puppy and her kitty and her cat. And then let's not forget the one that ran away from her. It was the second one, moving right along. I can support my animals. I can feed them. I can, have a roof over my head. I'm so thankful for this job. And then the narrative shifts. Remember what I always say, she needs to shift the narrative when it fits her. It fits her right now to say, well, my schedule's a little hecticana. I'm not always here, whatever. But if I had a real job, I'd be showing up. Pookie, who are you kidding? We've seen what you do when you have a real job. It's an amazing time to be alive. Goals. In case anyone was wondering, YouTube is a real job. I promise you that. Tell you something else, Amber. Everybody knows that exactly how you disrespect your coworkers, you disrespect your audience, you disrespect your boss by continuously in this job breaking the terms of service, the rules of the person that signs your paycheck, okay? You are the same way, in my opinion, at your other jobs that you had. And the reason that I know that is because you were intelligent enough to show us how you behaved in your other jobs. It's all filmed and edited on your channel. He finishes the video off strong by again talking about a rumor that is not a rumor, that literally, as Hans Christian Amberlyn would say, no one talked about. Some nonsense. She says that people are saying that she's a narcissist and that's why she bought her mother gifts. That doesn't even make any sense. How does that make sense? You bought your mother gifts because I guess you wanted to. It was Mother's Day. I think you ruined her Mother's Day with your constant health concerns that could have been handled at primary care physician appointments and specialist appointments that you neglected to go to, because I know exactly what you're doing, Pookie. You wanted in one swift moment, whenever something is wrong, you want everybody to drop everything that they're doing instead of waiting in line like everybody else. But do I think that you purchased her gifts to feel good about yourself? Possibly, but I don't really think most people are saying that, and I wouldn't even say that myself. Why am I bringing this up? She continues to showcase rumors that no one is saying, that maybe one person said or she heard somewhere, that are not the big thing that people are talking about. Why? She wants to show her audience how ridiculous the rumors that are being spread about her are. You only have one problem. It's, you always pick things that people are not actually talking about and no one cares about, because if you actually talked about what people really talked about, you'd be in a lot of trouble, because it would not be a rumor, it would be true. Picking these fake false rumors that no one has ever said. This Never Happened magazine, Amberlyn is not only a subscriber, she also wrote today's edition of Definitely Didn't Happen. You understand what I'm saying? So Amber, keep doing that, Pookie. We see exactly what you're doing, picking fake rumors that no one ever said said just to prove to your audience that people are making up stuff about you when they're not. In my personal opinion, the majority of the things that people say about Amber are true. One more thing that I wanted to talk about briefly. In her members only live stream, she was doing like this ridiculous version of Choosy, and she said that she would block Jordy, cuddle me, and marry Salty Crab, right? Okay. So the thing is, I understand that she wasn't being serious. I understand that it wasn't like a big deal. I found it gross, and no, I don't want to cuddle you. I will never cuddle you. I will never even talk to you. I don't want to have anything to do with you in any realistic way. But what I will say is this. A lot of you made statements that I honestly didn't even think about at the moment. Moment. Yes, I know I misspelled the word moment. Some of you said, imagine if it was the other way around and you had said that about her, or reaction channels had said that about her, what she would do. And you guys are right. You know what? Sometimes I just don't, brain power is not there for me because I've been watching too much Ambi. Can I call you Pookie? So yeah, you guys are right. I didn't even think of that. What would happen if it was the other way around and one of the reaction channels made a, joke? Like, I understand Amber, well, I'm hoping she's not being serious, but it's still like unappealing to me. But the point is, I guess she's probably not being serious. It's like a weird joke, whatever. Imagine if one of us had said that about her. She would immediately say that we're stalking her, that we have a crush on her, that we're inappropriate, that we're harassing her, all this other stuff. And honestly, why am I even bringing this up that you guys said this? First of all, because I didn't think of it and you did, and I thought it was brilliant. But more so than that, what I wanted to say is this is just a great example of how whenever she's feeling something, she always puts it on somebody else. What do I mean by that? Transference. Everything that she is guilty of, she's just transferring it. Suspicion always haunts the guilty mind. She is a full-blown stalker. And she accuses reaction channels of stalking her, even though none of us have ever reached out to her that I know of privately, even though none of us even live in the same state as her. None of us, probably, most of us have never even probably been to her state, or would never even go, would never even say anything like what she says about us. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes, reaction channels can be critical, but a critical review is allowed on YouTube, by the way. The thing is that everything that she feels about herself, she puts it onto other people. When she said the Mr. Snowflake, something with, his cardigan or his beard or whatever the situation is, it's what she is. It's what she feels about herself. Like any hygiene issues that she's having, she's putting it on other people. She's saying that she would cuddle and marry somebody, but in reality, she would call other stalkers. Like I remember when she would say that, people that make videos about her are stalking her. How so? None of us have even been in your state. You know what I'm saying? So like Pookie, making public videos on YouTube is not considered us stalking you. It's us responding to public content, entertainment business. Anyways, rinse, lather, delulu, here we are. Thoughts, comments, dislikes, leave them in the comments down below. I want to thank you all so very much for watching today. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your time. Check out this other video that's popping up here. You may enjoy it. You may not enjoy it. Go and watch it. All right. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you for being here. I'll see you next time. Bye.